The most iconic franchise in the NBA has had so many legendary players walk the parquet floors of the Boston Garden. They helped shape the NBA into this incredible sports empire. So for this video, we're going to pay tribute to them and count down the top 30 greatest players to ever play for the Boston Celtics. Keep in mind that we're not counting what they did with any other franchise, but with the Celtics alone. We want to look at their tenure there, the numbers they recorded, and of course, the number of banners they helped raise. Let's start the countdown. Number 30, we have Ed Macauley. For the 6 years that he played for the Celtics, he made the All-Star each time between 1950 and 1956. He finished third in points 3 times, and he led the league in field goal percentage once. He was even the MVP for the very first NBA All-Star game. Number 29, we have Marcus Smart. For his 9-year Celtics career, he brought a toughness to this team that shaped them into title contenders. His per-game numbers aren't very enticing, but the effort that he always played with is what made him the most lethal perimeter defender. It's what allowed him to be selected to the first-team All-NBA defense 3 times and to win the Defensive Player of the Year award in 2022. He's the only Celtics player, along with Kevin Garnett, to win the award. Number 28, we have Antoine Walker. He's quite possibly the most polarizing player in Celtics history. Your feelings for him might have changed from one minute to the next, but one thing for sure is that you can never question his talent and heart. This 3-time All-Star could play all 5 positions. He was one of the few big men who had 3-point range, and he was an exceptional offensive rebounder. His shot selection and decision making were a problem at times, but in the end, Celtics fans grew to appreciate a player who was ahead of his time. Number 27, we have Al Horford. We just talked about how important Marcus Smart's defense was for all those years, but it was Al who was the anchor of their defensive attack. His intensity, high basketball IQ, and versatility on offense have made him such a valuable piece. Both he and Marcus Smart were vital in the Celtics reaching the finals in 2022. The difference is that Al Horford was selected to be an All-Star back in 2017, while Marcus has never received such an honor. Number 26, we have Danny Ainge. He was the type of talent that could have made him one of the top 2 guards in the league, but he instead was the starting shooting guard for arguably the greatest team in NBA history. That is, of course, the 1986 team, and he was the perfect fit. While the opposing defense would collapse on Bird, McHale, and Parrish on the post, Danny Ainge would make them all pay for leaving him open. He was one of the top outside shooters in the game. In 1988, he even led the league in 3-pointers made. That was the same year he was selected to be an All-Star. Number 25, we have Bailey Howell. Although he only played with Boston for 4 seasons, he played a big part in the 2 titles they won in 1968 and 1969. He was the team's most efficient scorer. He was the second best rebounder behind Bill Russell, and he always played hard on both ends of the floor. His impact couldn't have been felt more in the 1968 finals. With John Havlicek and Sam Jones struggling from the field, Bailey averaged the impressive stat line of 21 points on 57% shooting and 7.5 rebounds. Up to that point, it was the most efficient scoring series by any player that averaged at least 20 points in the finals. Number 24, we have Don Nelson. He was such an important player for the 5 championship seasons he was a part of, thanks to his high basketball IQ and selflessness. Aside from the intangibles, the Celtics benefited greatly from his precise outside shooting, so much so that he even led the league in field goal percentage in his 13th season. Out of all the thousands of 15-footers that he made in his career, none was greater than when he made this huge dagger against the Lakers in Game 7 of the 1969 Finals. He might not have always started the games, but you wanted him there to close it out. Number 23, we have K.C. Jones. He started as a backup point guard to Bob Cousy for 5 years, but once he retired, he did a serviceable job of filling his role, and he helped the Celtics win 3 more titles. He certainly wasn't the playmaker that Cousy was, but he was one of the best backcourt defenders of his era. Even his rival, Jerry West, called him the best defender that he's ever faced. Number 22, we have Cedric Maxwell. The ultra-efficient forward should be considered one of the team's most important role players. That is mostly due to his legendary performance in the 1981 playoffs. We saw him defend Julius Erving very well in the conference finals, and then we saw him lead the team in scoring in the finals. It was everything that made him so great. His most important accolades include leading the league in field goal percentage twice, being ranked 5th all-time in career true shooting percentage, and being named Finals MVP. Number 21, we have Tom "Satch" Sanders. If you're going to form the greatest sports dynasty, you need a group of special players that is going to play their roles to perfection. Satch Sanders was inducted into the Hall of Fame because he was one of the greatest contributors. His role was to mainly be a defensive stopper, and he was one of the greatest of his era. Elgin Baylor and Bob Pettit went as far as to say that he was the best defender they've ever seen at the forward position. Number 20, we have Nate "Tiny" Archibald. During his time there, he was no longer looking to fill up the stat sheet as he did throughout the 70s. He reinvented himself and he became a high-quality role player. He was a true point guard and a true floor general. He had such a positive impact that he was selected to be an All-Star 3 years in a row. He also showed incredible toughness by playing through an injury, which is what he did in the 1981 finals. The leg injury that he was playing through affected his play, but he did just enough to help deliver the Celtics their first title of the Larry Bird era. Number 19, we have Frank Ramsey. For many basketball historians, he was a first-grade sixth man. That's the luxury that the Boston Celtics had. But we must clarify that this wasn't because he wasn't good enough to start. It was all part of the strategy of Red Auerbach to gain an advantage over his opponents. Here's how we know this. In the 1959 finals, he was their second leading scorer. Then in the 1960 finals, he was their third leading scorer. He was the type of player that changed the momentum whenever he stepped on the court. He was the blueprint of the next evolution of the sixth man that John Havlicek would later master. Number 18, we have Jaylen Brown. He is the second best player for a team that reached the finals and has 2 other conference finals appearances since 2020. That is thanks to Jaylen being one of the top shot makers in the game. When he's coming off the dribble, he's as dangerous as any scorer in the mid-range. He's only 27 years old, so we haven't seen his best yet. We're starting to see maturity in his game, and he's even starting to get the reputation of being a respectable two-way player. If he can help deliver a title to Boston, then he can make a big leap in the rankings to join the next tier of Celtics legends. Number 17, we have Rajon Rondo. Other than Bob Cousy, he's the greatest pure passer in Celtics history. He is the owner of their top 4 assists per game average for a season. If we're talking career leaders, he has the 4th most assists in Celtics history. As far as his accolades, he was selected to be an All-Star 4 times. He led the league in assists twice, and he led the league in steals once. Putting the numbers aside, he was the type of player who could completely control the tempo of the game, and he seemed to elevate his play in the biggest moments. Playoff Rondo was a real thing. You can even make the case that he was their best player from 2010 to 2012 when they had 2 long playoff runs. Number 16, we have Ray Allen. There's an argument to be made that he's the greatest pure shooter in Celtics history. Let's take a look at some of the numbers. He has 2 of the 3 highest 3-point field goal percentages and the highest free throw percentage for a single season. In fact, the 95.2 free throw percentage that he shot in 2009 is the 4th highest in league history. Aside from his shooting greatness, his clutch play is a big reason why he should be ranked this high. He's had so many big moments while wearing a Celtics uniform. He also had a strong case of winning the 2008 Finals MVP. He averaged 20.3 points, which was the 2nd highest for the team, while shooting 52% from the 3. His efficiency was the key to that title. Number 15, we have Dennis Johnson. Before he arrived in 1983, The Celtics reached the finals once for the first 4 years of the Larry Bird era. Then DJ comes along, and they make 4 straight finals appearances. That, of course, includes 2 championships. The value that he brought to the team starts with his defense. He was selected to 4 All-NBA defensive teams. The way he could disrupt a team's offense had to be seen to believe. He also had a handful of legendary moments. You have the time when he guarded Magic Johnson to perfection in the 1984 finals, his buzzer-beating shot in the 1985 finals, and the tough layup that made the Larry Bird steal so iconic. There's a reason why Bird called him the best player he's ever played with. Number 14, we have JoJo White. The statistical case for him is strong. He currently has the 7th most assists and 10th most points scored in franchise history. He's also a 7-time All-Star, a 2-time champion, and he won the Finals MVP in 1976. But it was his play and character on the court that helped him gain universal respect from his peers. He was a talented playmaker who could also score in multiple ways. On top of that, he was extremely reliable. There was a period where he played 488 consecutive games, which remains a Celtics record. But most importantly, he was reliable in the most critical moments. He remains one of the most underrated clutch players ever. Number 13, we have Jayson Tatum. He may very well be the most talented player in Celtics history. His athleticism, size, speed, and shot-making ability make him such a dangerous threat on both ends of the floor. He hasn't reached his peak yet, and he's already accomplished so much. He's a 5-time All-Star. He has 2 All-NBA first-team selections. He has 1 top 5 finish in MVP voting. He has a buzzer-beating shot in the playoffs. He scored 51 points in the Game 7. He's had a 60-point game, and he's led his team to the finals. All that he's missing is a championship ring. For a franchise like this, he has to win the big one before he can be considered one of the 10 greatest Celtics players. Number 12, we have Kevin Garnett. He gets the credit for helping re-establish the winning culture for this storied franchise. How did he do it? With his tenaciousness, intensity, and his defensive greatness. The proof is in the numbers. He ranks 2nd defensive box plus minus and 6th in defensive rating among Celtics players. He also won the Defensive Player of the Year award in 2008. The result was that Boston had either the 1st or 2nd best defensive rating in 4 out of 5 seasons between 2008 to 2012. It's no accident that they had 2 straight 60-win seasons, 2 finals appearances, and 1 other Eastern Conference Finals appearance. He might not have won the Finals MVP in 2008, but he was unquestionably the most valuable player for that championship season. Number 11, we have Bill Sharman. This Hall of Fame legend had it all. Tom Heinsohn once described him as an incredible athlete, a tenacious defender, and a terrific offensive player. And that he was. He was selected to 8 straight All-Star appearances and 7 straight All-NBA teams. But there's no question that the most important attribute was his efficient shooting. He annually finished among the league leaders in field goal percentage. He also led the league in free throw percentage 7 times. In 1959, he shot 93.2%, which is the 22nd highest in league history. For the 4 titles that he helped the Celtics win, he was a team leader in points for 2 seasons. Number 10, we have Tom Heinsohn. There was no other ex-player that was associated with the Celtics more than him. During his prime, he played a huge role during the dominant run in the early 60s. He led the team in scoring 3 times, and he was the team's 2nd leading scorer for 2 other years. He also led the team in scoring in the finals in 1957, 1959, 1960, and 1961. He proved to be the Celtics' go-to scorer during the early years of their reign. Bill Sharman even once said that no one had more variety in their shot-making abilities. When you get deemed as Mr. Celtic for the most storied franchise in NBA history, that means we have to take your resume seriously. Number 9, we have Robert Parrish. What makes his career so impressive is not just the fact that he lasted so long in the NBA, but it was that he was able to maintain the same level of play. He was the anchor of their defense. He helped direct the traffic, and he ran the court better than any other center during that time. He played his role to perfection, even when he was pushing 40. That's what allowed him to rank second in games played, second in rebounds, fourth in points, fifth in steals, and he's an unofficial franchise leader in blocks. But more importantly, his willingness to sacrifice his numbers for the good of the team helped the Celtics become such a powerhouse in the 80s. Number 8, we have Dave Cowens. All of his contemporaries described him the same way. He was ruthless and relentless. There are very few players in the history of the league who play with the kind of intensity that he did. On top of that, the combination of his size, speed, and strength allowed him to do things that no other center could do on both ends of the floor. As far as the numbers, he currently ranks 3rd in rebounds and 6th in blocks among all Celtics players. He was also the first player to lead a team in points, rebounds, assists, blocks, and steals. But his most important accolade is when he won the MVP for the 1973 Celtics, who won 68 games. That is tied for the 6th highest win total in NBA history. Number 7, we have Sam Jones. He has a strong case for being the best scorer of the Bill Russell era. His 25.9 points per game average in 1965 was the highest average during that decade. He was the only player to score over 50 points. Then there was a 1967 playoff series against the New York Knicks when he averaged 33.5 points. That was the most by any Celtics player until Larry Bird surpassed it in 1985. But most importantly, he was their go-to scorer in clutch moments, and he delivered in countless times. He averaged 30.1 points in 8 deciding Game 5s or Game 7s as a starter. He was also undefeated in those games. Then there was a time he had game winners in a Game 7 and even in the finals. Number 6, we have Kevin McHale. I believe he's the most skilled power forward in history. There have been so many former coaches and players who claim he's the most difficult player to defend. That is due to the dozens of ways that he can score from the post. His scoring dominance is reflected in the fact that he led the league in field goal percentage twice. He's also among 6 players to ever average over 60% shooting while also scoring over 20 points. As much praise as he gets for his scoring, he was easily one of the best defenders during his prime. He was consistently selected in the All-NBA defensive teams once he was in the starting rotation. As far as where he ranks among the franchise leaders, he's 2nd in blocks, 5th in points, and 6th in rebounds. Number 5, we have Paul Pierce. Let's start with the statistical case. He's a franchise leader in 3-pointers made and steals. He's 2nd in points, 4th in blocks, 5th in assists, and 7th in rebounds. A lot of us think of scoring first when talking about the truth, but those rankings show us that he was also a respectable two-way player. Then we have his supreme clutch abilities. He has had 7 buzzer beaters in his career, which is the 4th most ever. The majority of those came while he was playing in Boston. That's not to mention all the game winners he's had in the playoffs. He also deserves recognition for the way he adjusted his game to make the Big 3 experiment work. He proved how versatile of a player he was, and that played a huge part in their 2008 title victory. Number 4, we have Bob Cousy. He was the godfather of the modern point guard. He is the inventor of various moves that we see every night on the basketball court. The way he revolutionized the game needs to be celebrated. Although he retired from the Celtics over 60 years ago, he is still the franchise leader in assists. To this day, we haven't seen many players who could pass the ball as he could. It's no surprise that he led the league in assists 8 times. But that's not the only thing he excelled at. He finished in the top 3 in scoring 3 times, and he's had a total of 33 triple-doubles. That is the 2nd most in franchise history. He was an exceptional all-around player. His most notable accolades include winning the MVP, being named an All-Star 13 times, and winning 6 titles. Number 3, we have John Havlicek. He is the greatest sixth man in league history. How do we know this? In his second season, he was already the leading scorer for the 1964 championship team. He was a huge reason why they were able to remain dominant after the retirement of Cousy. He brought the Celtics even more success when he was permanently moved to the starting lineup. He was the best player for their 1968 and 1969 titles. Then he won 2 more titles after the retirement of Bill Russell. What made him so special was his supreme athletic abilities and his all-around excellence. To this day, he is still one of the game's greatest all-around players. He's had 31 triple-doubles, which is the 3rd most in franchise history. But that's not all. He's a franchise leader in points, games played, and minutes. He's 2nd in assists, and he's 5th in rebounds. On top of that, he's an 8-time champion and a 13-time All-Star. Number 2, we have Larry Bird. He doesn't have the most accomplished career resume, but no one was more revered than Larry Legend. So many ex-players and coaches outright said that he was the greatest player ever. What he accomplished at his peak was absolutely remarkable and is arguably better than anyone. From his rookie season to 1988, Bird led his team to at least the conference finals for 8 out of those 9 seasons. That included 5 trips to the finals and 3 titles. He won 3 straight MVPs and 2 finals MVPs. We all know about the awards and the records he broke. His greatness goes beyond that. He was somebody who always made his teammates better. He never took any plays off. He sacrificed his body. He sacrificed his ego to come off the bench in part of the 1982 season. And when it was winning time, there was nobody that you feared more with the ball. At their peak, there was nobody in Celtics history that was better. Number 1, we have Bill Russell. He has set a culture and a standard that is still being felt today. It's not just about winning. It's about making whatever sacrifice to win. It's about realizing that basketball is a team game and you need the other 4 players on the court to reach the ultimate goal. There isn't a single player in basketball history who understood this better than Bill Russell. He knew his job was to be the team's defensive anchor, and no one did it better. He is the single most valuable defensive player in the history of the sport. His defensive greatness was the foundation of each of the 11 titles they won. He didn't need to score a bunch of points to have his imprint on the game. That's the reason why he was voted the MVP by his contemporaries 5 times in his career. It was obvious to the rest of the players that no one affected winning more for their team than Russell did. For a franchise that's all about winning, no one's more deserving of the number 1 spot. As a recap, here are the top 10 players in Celtics history. Number 10, Tom Heinsohn. Number 9, Robert Parrish. Number 8, Dave Cowens. Number 7, Sam Jones. Number 6, Kevin McHale. Number 5, Paul Pierce. Number 4, Bob Cousy. Number 3, John Havlicek. Number 2, Larry Bird. And number 1, Bill Russell. Do you agree with this list? What would your list look like? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.